Okay, this one is about Know Your Boat. Basically, I've chosen a well kept boat, Baby Jane, in the yard, which has got roughly all the features that we're after. Here, the arrows point to key parts that you need to know about and look after, to be honest with you. Um, See if you can name them before the messages start coming up, and then we'll go through them one by one. I think the important thing is to start with the keels. This is a keel, and this is a bilge keel. Some have lifting keels, some have fin keels. The majority we use at the D are bilge keels and lifting keels. Ideal for sitting on the sand and not getting in the way. Next bit is the rubbing strake, and I think this is an important part of the boat. It looks nice and it stops it getting damaged, but also the main thing is to cover up the join between the top of the boat and the hull, and this is an ideal um, part to secure that. Then we move to the stanchion. The stanchion is there to keep the safety lines attached from the front of the boat to the back of the boat. It's very important that they're steady and fixed. If they are loose, you need to make sure they are fixed in a solid position. Then obviously there's the mast, which is a key part that holds your sails up, and that again needs to be in good condition. Look after these things. These are very important to your boat. Your boom, which connects to the mast, you make sure that the connections are secure, and that holds your mainsail, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But the mainsail is the one that is your driving sail. That's your accelerator that pushes you along. So that's something that needs to be well fastened, and also you will talk about the actual main sheet, which allows you to adjust that boom, which then adjusts your mainsail. Then there's the mast rigging. Mast rigging, most important bit on your boat. Without that, your mast will fall down. You need to check that on a regular basis. Make sure there's no frayed wires in there, no cracks in it, no bends in it, and they are supposed to be tensioned to the correct tension. We have a tension gauge that you can borrow, but make sure that they are reasonably tight. They should never be loose. This will cause major damage to your rigging, and it's not something you should do. As I say, these are key elements. It's a good idea to go around and check all of these if you can, if you've got time before you set sailing, just to make sure nothing's come loose. Then we move on to the jib furler. The jib furler allows you to fold or roll up the jib or the foresail on the front of the boat, and that is connected to a furling line which leads to the back into the cockpit, and you just pull that tight and that will roll up your sail at the front. These can get jammed, so again it's good to service these on a regular basis. It makes sure that you look after most of this equipment. Then there's the pulpit. That's not to stand on and sing. That's there to stop you falling over when you're pulling the anchor in. The next bit is the important bit. These are your bottle screws or turnbuckles, securing the mast rigging that stops your mast from tipping over. It's important that you look after these and make sure they're secure. Then we get onto the rear of the boat, the stern. And the main item here is your main sheet. It's not a rope, it's a main sheet. And this controls your mainsail, controls the boom, allows you to let it in and bring it in, let it out and bring it in. And it's important that you learn how to use this, because this is basically your accelerator. So it's a good thing to get to know and use it. They're located in many different places, but they're all connected to the boom, and that's your main sheet. And then we go on to the push pit. This is at the back again. It's not for anything else apart from lean on, so you can put your outboard motor on or pick things up off the back without sort of like really strain yourself over the wires. There's your outboard bracket, which you attach your outboard to, and that you lower that into the water, and that will drive you along under engine. Another key item that we need to think about now is the winch. The winch is a key part. It will help you pull your foresail in or your jibs using your jib sheet, and it will also allow you to hoist your mast or anything that you need to pull. The winch is a useful tool to have. You can see the eye that's on a traveller, and this is where you run your foresail or jib sheet through back to the winch, and this allows you to ease out or pull in your jib sheet foresail to control the draft that goes across the sails. As we move further on to the back of the boat, these are other items that you need to know about. First one here is the push pit, which we've already mentioned, and you can see how sturdy that is. Something to get a grip on and hold on to, especially if you're climbing onto the boat as well, and I think that's very important, that it's solid and secure. Always make sure that these things are secure. If they're loose, fix them. Then you've got the outboard bracket there. That's to put on your outboard in case you don't want it draggling in the water. That's a good thing to have. And then you've got the other items, which is the cleat, and that's to tie off your jib sheet or foresail sheet, so that you don't have to keep on holding onto it. It's always good to do. And then you've got the rigging, the backstay, which keeps your mast up. Again, something you need to maintain and look after. These are key items on your boat and should be always inspected to make sure that they don't fail. And then lastly, we have the horseshoe, which is basically a float, a horseshoe float, that if somebody went overboard, you would take that off and throw it out. That's the bracket that holds it on. Unfortunately, there's not one to show you there. But they're the key features of the boat. There are many more that you will learn about as time goes on, but they're the main ones that you need to look after and keep safe.